What's something you bought under 300 that noticeably improved your quality of life and you actually use every day? Before we start, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next videos. I wish you a pleasant viewing experience. Story 1. Surprisingly, an electric toothbrush. I kind of thought they were a waste of money until I got one for Christmas about 8 years ago. They actually do an incredibly good job. Story 2. 75 were old retired lady with my car parked away from my condo front door. A wagon for groceries. OMG, thankful for it every time I use it. Also, it came in really handy taking my toddler great niece for her first trick-or-treat. Story 3. Tons of answers, but today I'm saying curved shower rod. Cost maybe 15, but it pretty much added 2 full feet of space at shoulder height, and my shower doesn't feel claustrophobic anymore. Answer. Agree in adding to get one that is not adjustable, so it is a single piece of metal without the hump for the hangers to catch on. Also, get the curtain hangers with the small metal beads inside the hook for easier rolling. And semi-transparent shower curtain for good lighting made out of new PIVA or something material. And always attached to a stud. Rod taller and further out than you might think comes with great results. Make sure the curtain doesn't pool on the floor. Story 4. I started taking vitamin D3 5000 YU daily with magnesium and vitamin K2 for absorption because I read it'll help my psoriasis. Didn't help my psoriasis, but my lower back pain was gone. Like poof, disappeared. This might not work for everybody, but it worked for me. All for some cheap vitamins. Answer. I have a partially similar story. Went to an endocrinologist after a year-long chronic anxiety and insomnia episode. First thing that she did when she heard about my insomnia was to check my vitamin D levels. OFC, they were under the normal limits, and then put me on the highest dose, a good magnesium brand, for 3 months. Not only did I sleep like a baby, and my whole mental landscape changed within the first week, but completely unrelated to that, my hair started growing like crazy. I used to lose a fistful of hair every 2 to 3 days when I washed it. Took some of the best hair vitamins out there. None of them worked like a strong combo of Vit, D, and magnesium. Story 5. A vacuum robot, especially if you have pets and air purifier, stopped sneezing every morning as soon as I woke up. Automatic cat feeder. Now I just refill and provide wet food, and it's easier to control portions. Answer. I got a refurbished robot vacuum mop a little while ago on some sort of deal site. It took me a while to actually take it out of the box and set it up. I have no idea why I was so intimidated. This thing is great. It doesn't do the best job with edges, but running it overnight is so darn easy. I'm not a great housekeeper, and I'm super busy with a job and 3 kids. Not the best job is way better than it'll get to the floors another day. Story 6. Throw out all your socks and buy a bunch of identical ones. Never have to worry about matching again. Answer. I just stopped caring about matching socks. It's now my thing to wear those goofy jerk design socks and not bother to match them. Went to physical therapy, and the lady had to stop and compose herself because I was wearing one bright neon orange sock with a giant fox face and another sock covered in owls. She was having a not-so-great day, I guess, and it helped put some goofiness into her day. I imagine most people make sure their socks match when going to the doctors. Story 7. A Fitbit. Since I bought my first Fitbit 7 years ago, I move more overall, am much more active, and feel better. Proof? I'm currently on a 1,673-day streak of 10K steps day. My base heart rate is 53, and I'm 70 years old. Answer. Darn 1,673-day streak. I struggle with my actual days off. During the week I work out, and run, so most days I am at 15K, with days topping the 25K. On a lazy Sunday or a day traveling for work, however, I lose my streak. Flying from Europe to China is a streak breaker. It's about 16 hours stuck in a tube, and with the time difference, I end the day in there. I'd need to go for a 4 a.m. run to keep it. Story 8. For me, it was my walking pad for under my desk when I WFH. I am obsessed with it. Before I would sit all day and then feel rushed to immediately get outside and moving after work. Now I walk while I work and have so much more time to do stuff with friends and family after work because I'm multitasking. I'm also the leanest I've ever been. Answer. I was so sad when I was forced to move on from my almost entirely OF job because I was going to have to be at the office every day with no good way to get my steps. Thankfully, my desk at the office is literally right next to a communal walking desk that no one ever uses. Now I get like 15K steps per day. The commute still sucks, but the walking desk is a small consolation for sure. Story 9. Blackout curtains for my room absolutely improves my sleep quality. especially during the times of the year when the sun rises earlier. Story 10. I have 3 laundry baskets in my trunk for shopping and groceries. It's much easier to carry in a real full basket than lots of bags. I also find it helps in keeping my car organized, and I get to organize the baskets when I put the groceries in the cars. Story 11. I recently bought a charger with 2 USB-C ports and 1 USB port. I love the flexibility of charging my phone, watch, and something else with one box. Story 12. Kindle. I got mine maybe a month before COVID hit, and it really helped to keep me entertained during lockdown. I've read over 100 books per year since getting it. Story 13. Don't use it every single day, but getting an electric shaver was a great decision and has saved me a lot of time and hassle. Story 14. A walking machine. Like one of the mini treadmill pieces that don't go over 4 or first. Walking every day and got to have a nice weight loss journey. Story 15. My first instrument. I wouldn't know most of my friends or what to do with all of my time if I never picked up an instrument. Story 16. Dental floss. Learned my lesson after 1 root canal. My mouth is so much healthier. I can't go to bed without flossing or my teeth feel disgusting. Story 17. Prescription eyewear from online seller, i.e. Zenni. My optometrist quoted me 600 tax, CAN, for the lenses alone, not including new frames, 375 tax for the ones I liked. Instead, I bought a style of frame I had been wearing for years, and including my complex and somewhat high progressive prescription, it was about $150.0 USD, including shipping. I wear them every day, have had many compliments, and best of all, I can see. This was a life changer. Answer: I have terrible eyesight and bought prescription glasses for $11 from Zenni. That is not a typo. $11. Nothing special with the lenses. I only wear them before bed and after waking up on my way to the bathroom. 6 frames. It was so great that I bought a second pair to leave in my suitcase's travel kit, so I don't need to remember to pack them before a trip. I also bought a pair of non-prescription sunglasses from Zenni, and they were literally double the price of my prescription glasses. Story 18. Mattress heating pad. You will never feel closer to royalty than when you climb into a pre-warmed bed in the dead of winter. Story 19. My wife got me a cheap projector for Christmas. Didn't think we'd use it, but we tried it. It had YouTube, Netflix, etc. on it, and we began watching shows in bed at night. It quickly became our favorite part of the day. Story 20. A milk frother. I use it to froth my half and half every morning. The husband uses it to mix pre-workout. I use it to mix flavor packets into carbonated water, and I use it to mix chocolate collagen in milk for chocolate milk. You'll never live without one, and they cost $10. Story 21. Might not be what you intended, but an eHarmony year-long subscription. Now I have a wife and 2 kids. Changed my life daily. Story 22. I spent a stupid amount of money on a Medcline pillow set, and it's really improved my sleep and kept me from walking up with dead fingers. Story 23. A Roomba. I live 2 blocks from the beach and have hardwood floors. I was sweeping every day and vacuuming every 3 days, and it didn't matter. Whenever I took my socks off, the ground felt crunchy. This thing sweeps, vacuums, and mops for me, and I literally have no worries. I set it up to run when I'm at work, and it does an outstanding job. It's not an actual Roomba, it's an Amazon knockoff. It has LiDAR to detect obstacles and it maps the apartment. So I then go in the app and set restrictions on where it has problems like fan bases and where I have bathroom mats. I ran the thing a few times when I got it and observed it, drew the restricted areas or on the map, and this thing is my new favorite appliance. I was hesitant at first because my previous roommates had bought a Eufy brand Amazon Roomba, and it was pretty dumb. It just had bumpers and would get stuck under things, and we'd always have to rescue it all the time. The only way we could get it to not go places was to close a door. 3 years later, they have really evolved. I thought I'd have to watch it all the time, but nope. It does. It things and finds its way back to the charging station. No hassle. Story 24. Okay, it's not used every day, but I highly recommend everyone own a complete set of stain devils, or at least the ones for the 4 to 5 most common types of stains. Varies depending on your household, but I always keep the oil, coffee, wine, chocolate, blood ones on hand. So, they're enzymatic solutions that target that type of stain specifically and work incredibly, unbelievably well. Like, to the point that no matter how high your expectations might be after reading this, those expectations will be hugely exceeded. I had a big coffee stain on a shirt at work, couldn't treat the stain for 6 hours or so, and the coffee stain devil got it out 100. Same for blood stains, etc. Just read and follow the directions. Each one of them has its own method. Story 25. Hoka shoes. I have complex regional pain syndrome. A good pair of shoes has really improved my quality of life. Story 26. Electric screwdriver for 15 is my favorite product of the year. Built a whole kitchen of IKEA cabinets. Story 27. A Tilly hat. I've had mine for about 10 years. It's been through oceans, pools, rivers, lakes, waterfalls, washing machines, and it still looks brand new. Still has a lifetime warranty. Still has a warranty protecting it against being lost. And it fits my large, misshapen head. Best 100 I ever spent. Story 28. Cold and hot water dispenser, tea on demand. Cold water. Drink a lot more water because of the instant, clean, cold, refreshing experience. Story 29. Good quality earbuds with active noise cancellation, ANC. Years ago, my first ANC buds were from Toso. They were honestly decent. Since then, I've moved from Apple AirPod Pros, tried a couple of generations, to Bose Quiet Comfort earbuds. Also a couple of generations. Finally to Jabra Elite Active 8 Gen 2. They've been my favorite overall. I highly recommend getting some good NC earbuds or headphones if you need personal high-quality audio and you enjoy turning down the ambient sounds around you. People, commute noises, office chatter, travel sounds, annoying background music while shopping, etc. This is a very personalized thing, so look for highly rated ones, but try out a few to see if they fit what you need in your ears. Answer: I got really excited to see your comment here because I've been looking to upgrade my earbuds as I use them daily for work and music, only to have a chuckle over the fact I managed to find the budget option all on my own last year. I love my sound cores. Yeah, phone calls bounce between sounding good to sounding distant, but the batteries in the earbuds themselves are only down to about 5.5 hours with ANC on and music at 30 to 40 volume. So I guess I'll be holding on to them a bit longer until I can seriously splurge. Story 30. Reading glasses. Don't fight it. If things don't look 100 clear, get a pair. It will change your life. Story 31. My AeroPress electric kettle and bean grinder cost less than $150 total and improved my coffee experience 100. The AeroPress makes a single serving of coffee very easily, and the cleanup takes seconds. The bean grinder and electric kettle make the rest of the process faster and easier. And the flavors improved. It's really surprising how much difference the method of making coffee has. Story 32. Here's my short list. Cushion Lab Deep Sleep Pillow, the travel version so I can take it with me wherever I go. Baggu Medium Crescent Bag. Fits a ton of stuff including my water bottle and iPad mini. Good quality luggage. I have a hard side set from Vera Bradley and it came with a great warranty. Dash cam, pet water fountain automatic feeders, air purifier. Story 33. Pillows between your legs. I use a king at 60 and adjust based on if my knees like it more, if the whole body. The amount of stress it takes off your hips and back is ridiculous. Also a cuddle pillow, which is what I call a super soft pillow I wrap my arms around. Great for your shoulder and also obviously great to cuddle. Story 34. An air fryer. I'm an anxiety snacker and it's opened up healthier snacks like roasted cauliflower. It lets me keep snacking, but on good stuff instead of cheap trash. Story 35. My Marina IUD was about that much with insurance. After over 20 years since I was 12, I was able to wear light-colored pants again and not spend 7 to 9 days every month wearing a tampon, pad, and adult diaper. Best quality of life change ever. Story 36. An Oral-B i08 electric toothbrush. I confess I love the app that comes with it to make sure I get 100 brush coverage twice a day. Game changer. Story 37. Portable countertop dishwasher. Our apartment doesn't have a dishwasher installed, and my husband and I both dislike hand washing the dishes every single night. We can just pour water into the portable dishwasher, and it drains into the sink. Saves us on water cost and time. And Story 38. My dog. He's absolutely changed my quality of life. And I use him every day for hugs, kisses, emotional support, comedic relief, a sleeping buddy, a workout bestie, and most importantly, a reason to get up in the morning. Story 39. Office chair, but I paid a little more. If you work from home, please read this and please buy a good chair. Story 40. Scrub daddy or scrub mommy, depending on your preference. Best fudge sponge on the planet. Fudge is not a verb there, it's an adjective, I think. I'm not so good with English, just know I'm not having sex with my sponges. Story 41. Ninja Foodie 14-in-1. Looks like they've discontinued selling in the US. Revolutionized the way we cook at home. Has easily paid for itself. Story 42. Apple Watch in 2021. 279 over 4 years later, and I use it every day. Track workouts, including custom running intervals, timer for cooking, laundry, etc. Easily check messages without picking up my phone and getting distracted. Pay with Apple Wallet by tapping the watch. Skip songs on Spotify. Vibrations to be notified of phone calls. I'm a millennial. My phone has been on silent for a decade or more. Can ping my phone if IDK where it is in my house. Displays map directions and vibrates when I am needing to turn. Can display next calendar event on watch face for easy remembering schedule. Am not even an Apple groupie, but I realized after writing this that I love this device more than I thought I had a Fitbit and a Whoop before Apple Watch wins by a landslide. Story 43. Nice notebook, pens, and a few self-help books. Learned that therapy is not for me, and journaling and self-help books have worked best for me. Story 44. Electric toothbrush for sure for hygiene routine. And in general, a good multi-tool. I work a trade job, but even at home, just having pliers, a knife, or screwdrivers quick at hand is great and comes up more than you might think. Story 45. Curved shower curtain rod. If you're trapped in the claustrophobic, most skin-touching hell of having a small shower with a straight curtain rod, let me tell you, there is another way. You don't have to live like that. Story 46. For under 300, you can grab yourself a good watch, a reliable knife, and a few handkerchief bandanas. All things you can carry daily, and they all come in clutch. Story 47. IPL device. It's so freeing not to have to worry about shaving. It didn't give complete hair removal, but has made it much less noticeable and more manageable. I only shave once a week and feel plenty comfortable going out in shorts and tank top day 7. Story 48. It'll sound dumb, but my Sirius XM subscription, it just makes me happy to crank 80s on 8 in the car. Story 49. 20 rice cooker. I've had it for probably 15 years. I use it probably twice a weekish. You can also cook quinoa in it. I have also made faux hot pot style soup in it. You just duct tape the button thingy down. Story 50. For the ladies, it's called a tinkle bell. It's a Bordaloo type contraption that is used for peeing when you're nowhere near a bathroom or they're really gross, like porta potties at festivals or fairs, or if you have trouble squatting, knee pain, or injuries that make squatting uncomfortable. You don't have to expose yourself. Squat, have someone be the lookout for you, or find a super secret pee spot. It's foldable and fits into your hand and comes with a carrying case and carabiner. It fits the female anatomy perfectly, no getting your clothes wet, and it's really easy to clean. I hike in the mountains almost daily, and it's been a game changer. Story 51. I got a handgun massager for maybe 80. It's small enough to travel with, and is so helpful if you get any muscle pain or soreness. Bob and Brad, I think, is the brand. Story 52. A wife. Engagement ring and wedding ring together were like 200. This was over 30 years ago. We were poor as dirt, and we lived within our means. Story 53. Actually didn't buy it, was given it as a closing gift, but my Blackstone grill reduces the dishes we use by like 75 and is keeping the heat out of the house during the summer, and incredibly delicious food. Story 54. My hot water bottle. I'm obsessed. I used to have one as a kid, but as I grew up, I relied on other ways of keeping warm. But the other day I had really bad cramps and desperately needing something warm to lay on my belly, so I went uptown and bought a 10 hot water bottle with a fluffy cover. I've used it nearly every night since. It helped the cramps, sure, but it makes sleeping so much more comfortable having it down by my feet. It's winter here at the moment. My feet get cold very easily and don't warm up quickly even under a thick blanket in a warm room. But pop the hottie down there and they're toasty in no time. Story 55. Air fryer. Saves so much time cooking, and since it's so easy quick, stops me from ordering out eating out, so helps me save money. Story 56. Dyson vacuum. My house has never been so clean. It is so easy. That should pay me to do an infomercial. LOL. Story 57. I found a whole home water filter on sale for $299, I think. It was pure luck, but I loved it, and it was a game changer. Story 58. Linen sheets. I tend to get too hot when I sleep and absolutely cannot stay asleep unless it's cool. A quality set of breathable linen sheets changed my life. Story 59. Samsung watch, surprisingly. It helps me be conscious of my movement and push myself to go further. Waterproof too. Wear it every day. Story 60. I just bought a folding mobility scooter that just really would benefit from a new battery pack, which I've ordered already. I paid just over $200, which was insanely lucky. I've already taken it on little test trips, but once I get the new batteries, I have plans to take the light rail downtown. and go to places like the myriad of museums. It does fit in my car. It just takes me a little time. Places that have been out if reached for me for ages. Story 61. Bidet, no question it's like. The thing that got me into fancy hotels while traveling, it's just a place to sleep, right? Is that they have a bidet I can use. Life-changing. Story 62. Heat control window film. The place I lived in, my bedroom got baked by the afternoon sun. The film reflected the sun and the room was noticeably cooler. Added bonus, it gave us some privacy as well. Story 63. Gooseneck electric kettle with a knockoff Chemex. I haven't bought coffee from a shop in years and there are no pumps to burn out. Story 64. I wouldn't say I use it every day, but it gets used about once a week. A bread machine. Unfortunately, the bread I like is like $7 USD at the grocery store with current inflation prices. And I'm not about to pay that much when I can get the ingredients for a fraction of the cost, dump them in the machine, and get an event tastier loaf of bread at the push of a button. Also, my stainless steel pots and pans. Story 65. An 11 wok from the business Costco. I cook in it multiple times a day. I somehow got it perfectly seasoned while also being neglectful of its care. Story 66. Daytime. A Yeti with the add-on straw lid. I drink so much more during the day, mostly because it keeps my water and tea cold even through Texas summers. Nighttime. A weighted blanket. It took a while to adjust. My hips were sore. It coincided with the new blanket. But I won't go back to a regular blanket. My restless leg rarely shows up at night anymore. Story 67. Bidet unrelated question. Would you rather use toilet paper or a hose to wash chocolate pudding off a sidewalk? Story 68. Air conditioner unit. It got a cheaper one for $279.99 from the legendary BQ. Honestly, the UK has been an absolute fudge corker this weekend. Not in my little room though. OBV's doesn't have the power to detox the whole house, but god darn is it effective. Story 69. A nice expensive pen. 15 at Target and a box of refills is something like 10 is where my first one came from. One of the best pieces of advice anyone has given me in my life is a lifelong delivery driver telling me in my 20s that if I wanted better tips, I should spend the money on a nice pen, rather than using the garbage 100 for 10 Bics the store provided. I wasn't even a full-time driver, but he was willing to share the knowledge with me because even though I was a shift manager and filled in when needed, I was one of the few inside staff that treated the drivers well. He told me that with a nice pen, you'll never have people frustrated at the door signing their credit slips when your bad pen won't write, and you'll never forget your nice pen at the door and have to bother them again or be embarrassed at the next stop. I am now in my 30s, years out of food service, and I will still buy these pens and refills to use at work now. Weird as it is, just using a nice pen and knowing it's going to actually work is a really nice way to remove at least one somewhat daily frustration, inconvenience. Not to mention I get compliments on how nice my paperwork comes out because there's no scratch marks, etc. Like what happens when a pen dies mid-writing. Story 70. I have a 35 fan Vornado 133 DC that has variable speed control, a knob that you can rotate to set the speed instead of just 3 speed settings. I didn't think I'd care about fine-tuning the fan speed, but I really do. Story 71. Custom orthotics, 80 USD. My feet have never been happier. Note, I'm now told that the company I ordered them from now charges 200 USD per pair. Even at this price, I say worth it. Story 72. Handheld shower head. I got it for washing my dog, but it is so much better than trying to maneuver my body to the right angle to get clean. Story 73. Air fryer. We use it at least once every single day. More than 300, but worth every penny as a litter robot for my cats. If it ever broke, you'd immediately buy another one. We've had one for 6 years now and it's life-changing. Story 74. I bought an O-Light maybe 10 years ago. I've carried one nearly every day since and am extremely annoyed when I don't have it and need light. The ability to light your surroundings at will is very convenient. Story 75. Toaster oven, specifically a combo toaster oven, air fryer, etc. Use it daily. Don't heat up the house with a full oven except at holidays. Story 76. A foam roller and a few lacrosse balls for loosening up my back and glutes. A few minutes every morning can really set the tone for my day. Then you can take me out to a nice steak dinner with the remaining 260. Story 77. A standing dustpan for sure. You can get any for under 20. I got my first one from the Dollar Tree 10 years ago, and finally replaced it last week. Sweeping is so much less of a hassle if you don't have to bend to get it up. Story 78. Not every day, but I got a small battery-powered air compressor. Whenever tires are low in the winter or high in the summer, I can set and adjust. Don't have to go to a gas station anymore. Story 79. Electric toothbrush, mini electric heating pad, silk pillowcase, Nespresso machine, fancy electric kettle. Story 80. Switch bots to turn any old manual button into a Wi-Fi enabled, voice-activated button now when my hands are full of groceries or while walking my dogs, or when a friend needs to get into my place to feed my dogs. I can just say, "Hey Siri, buzz the gate," and a few seconds later, a little robot finger will push the old button that buzzes the gate to my building, and I can just push through without having to fumble with my keys. Story 81. Tushy bidet attachment for my toilet. Already saved a ton on TP, but the real improvement is a clean rosebud every time. Story 82. I walk 15 miles a day for work, and I picked up a pair of Hokas in January to help with my knee and foot pain, and they have seriously been a miracle. Story 83. Far less than 300 microfiber hair towels. No bulky towel, no weird balancing act trying to keep it twisted up. Plus, I dislike the feeling of wet hair on my neck. Using fewer big towels also means less laundry. Story 84. A 1-liter water bottle. Mine is metal and has a straw. If I make sure to keep it in arm's reach while at work or doing chores, it's so much easier to keep hydrated and not get tempted to get coffee or soft drinks instead. It being 1L means I don't have to refill it all the time. Plus, it's way easier to remember how much I've drank over the day. I normally aim for 2-3L, so I know I'm good if I've refilled it at least once. Story 85. Apple Watch. I use it to figure out where I misplaced my iPhone. Seriously, like 5 times a day, it helps me figure out where it is in the house. Story 86. Easy a bidet. Changed my life. Every day feels like my jerk just got back from a spa retreat. I used to wipe like I was sanding drywall. Now I just sit there like a king while this little robot water snake blesses me. Honestly, it's the only relationship in my life that's consistent, supportive, and doesn't ghost me after 3 dates. Story 87. Vitamix blender, bought it refurbished 14 years ago. Use it almost every day for veggie fruit smoothies. Story 88. Same color brand socks in huge bulk. Fudge. Sorting. Literally keep them in a basket and just grab a few. Story 89. I use ChatGPT to help me purchase and position a nice fan to create a passive air return assist. For 90, I reduced my HVAC usage 20, and my house is cooler. Story 90. Kindle Fire. It's not really a tablet, but a personal entertainment device. I have about 140 books on it. Everything effed references to science fiction. I have all my streaming service apps and can download movies and shows when I'm traveling. I can adjust the screen brightness, size of text, and even colors I can plug in, or Bluetooth my noise-canceling headphones. I can watch YouTube or read a book. I never have to find my books or my place in them. Story 91. I don't use it every day, but multiple times a week, and that's my Dutch oven. Nothing fancy or no-name brands. Story 92. A noise machine that drowns out everything from people talking outside, the upstairs neighbor's footsteps, to the kids at the daycare next door. My other thing is my emotional support dog. Yes, I have a real RX from my real psychiatrist for him, and I know he is not allowed places that a service dog is allowed. I would not go outside if I didn't have him. I would only spend my days on my computer if I didn't need to take breaks to play with him. I would not have unconditional love in my life. I would not have a reason to stay on my meds. Story 93. Shoes with memory foam insoles. I started wearing these kinds of shoes around 6 years ago, and it changed my life, significantly reducing foot and back pain and increasing recovery time after long shifts at work. For reference, I just use any Skechers memory foam, and I get them for about 60 to 80 depending on style or if they have non-slip. Totally worth it. Story 94. Bluetooth headphones. I basically have one of them in 100 of the time while awake. Helps block out the noise ironically. Story 95. A 10 small shopping cart. I have used it so many times that it has paid 5x its value already. I use it to haul all heavy groceries. Story 96. Barefoot style tennis shoes for everyday walking use. Works for me and my flat dolphin flipper feet. No more foot pain from normal shoes and boots now. Story 97. A cheap robot vacuum up combo off Amazon. Have it set to run at 11 p.m. every day, and my floors are always spotless and clean. PSA, I don't have kids or pets, so not sure how it works with them in the mix. Story 98. Does super fast charging and brings my Galaxy from 0 to 100 in less than 30 minutes. I will never vacation without it. I record all day long and edit videos when I get home, and this thing lets me do that with zero anxiety. It has 2 Type-C ports so you can charge the charger and charge your phone through the charger at the same time at night. I also keep it at my desk at work when not traveling, because trying to use the mini tower to charge my phone takes 8 hours. Story 99. Not bought, but the best relatively inexpensive gift I've ever received was a nice wide laptop desk for me to put my laptop on while I watch TV. Story 100. Carbon steel pan. Once you start using it, you'll never look back. It's not toxic as Teflon, no weird chemicals, and it will last forever. Story 101. Meat thermometer. I no longer overcook food. 15. 2. Knife skills class. 60. Makes making dinner so much faster and safer. 3. Chef knife. 100 either a German or Asian. A 6 or 8 depending on what you like best. 4. Electric toothbrush. I went from brushing my teeth many times a day to just 2 times a day. 75. Scholl's PF insoles. 10. My feet feel so much better. I like Morel shoes, but I like them better with these. 6. Car garbage bag 15 and tray for tissues wipes. 6-7. Bidet 35-8. Water bottle that does not leak Yeti 40. Story 102. My brother gifted me a Shoot robotic vacuum cleaner. This one the first knockoff Roombas, so it's pretty dumb. Half the time I use it, it gets stuck somewhere stupid. But it's so nice to leave your house and come back to a vacuumed house. Story 103. Makita cordless vacuum. So much easier than digging the full-size vacuum out and dealing with power cords. Story 104. Good shoes. I've got a pair that's technically made for hiking, but I wear them nearly every day. Can't really compromise with shoes when you walk a lot. Story 105. Android Auto-capable head unit for my car. I was already going to put a Bluetooth-capable head unit in, as I do with every vehicle I buy, and only bought this one because it was on sale. But by far the best stereo I have put in a vehicle, the extra options I get with the Android Auto is a game changer. Story 106. Coffee mug warmer for $5 at Walgreens. It does a great job of keeping my coffee hot, and I use it every day. Story 107. A bidet. Installing it is so easy too. Most people are walking around with poop jerk, and it's gross. You don't have to buy toilet paper anymore. You save money, and you can get one for like $35 to $65 on Amazon. Story 108. A neck-mounted phone holder. As someone who doesn't own a TV or PC and uses my phone for all my entertainment needs, this thing has changed my life. No more sore hands. Story 109. All our often used light bulbs have Philips Hue bulbs. I love turning things on, off with my phone. No more getting comfy on the couch and realizing I want the lights off. It also lets you set timers. I have our living room turn off at 8 p.m. to remind us to clean up any dishes left, and I have it slow turn on in our bedroom, which is really dark, and am shocked how much it helps to have the lights wake you up. Story 110. Quality pillows. Ours are a cooling memory foam. Was like $85 per pillow, but we've had them 4 years now and they still sleep like they did new. Story 111. A plain old Kindle. Cheapest version. No notifications. Can cozy up and read without the clutter of books or the distractions of endless notifications. Story 112. A Benchmade knife, a Arcfield Ultra, and a EDC pen, Olight Mini, is a easy one to start with. Although, big idea design is what I want. They have a black camo Cerakote titanium pen that is very nice. Then get a right in the Rain Monsoon command desk. It's a waterproof binder. Very sleek with a ton of storage. Once I started down this EDC rabbit hole, then I ended up with a 5.11 multi-camo Rush 2437L backpack. Dude, a total life changer. But not so much as having a premium knife and a flashlight at all times. The Arcfield has 3 levels of brightness. A green laser and a 395 UV light. If you've never had a UV light, it's a literal life changer. Use one in a public restroom and see what happens. Mind blown, then scrambled with a blender and shoved back in her head. Absolutely disgusting. You'll never use one again. I use it to make points to my children of how they need to stay on their hygiene. But I digress. Buy yourself premium gear and it will pay for itself in the long run. Don't be cheap. It could cost you your life. Story 113. Bissell Wet Vac. Save my sanity. My floors are constantly clean because I can vacuum and mop in one step. I genuinely clean my kitchen and dining room 3 times a day because it's so easy, but it takes me 25 minutes to vacuum and mop the entire house. It's great. I love that stupid vacuum cleaner. Story 114. Heavy velvet curtains for a bedroom. They block out a ton of light, basically all of it if paired with some shades. But more importantly, make a big difference in terms of the noise in the room. It doesn't entirely block out sounds from outside, but helps a lot and really decreases the reverberation in the room itself. Story 115. A nice piece of art. It can be an oil on canvas or a rare teacup. If it brings you joy to look at and admire, it's worth every penny. Story 116. A vacuum that runs off your power tool batteries. I bought a Ryobi vacuum a few years ago, and it is amazing. I can vacuum the whole house using one of my 4AA batteries, and if the battery does die, I just grab another one off the charger. It's also light enough to use as a mini shop vac for the car. Best vacuum I have bought by a mile. Story 117. Vornado fans. The air circulation technology that they cite in their literature is real. I've got a large floor model that is pointed across a living room at a wall. The air bounces off that wall and travels back in all directions. At one angle down a 10ft hallway where I can see a sheet of paper flapping from the air currents. It's almost 60 feet of travel. While you can point it at yourself, that's not where its strengths lie. You have to screw with it, elevation speed to get the right combination, but when it's dialed in, it can make a whole room multiple degrees cooler. This is why head-to-head tests really don't capture the efficacy of this product. Story 118. Electric toothbrush, 75. Well-fitting supportive shoes, wool socks, 150. And last but not least, heated fitted sheets that go over the mattress and keep the bed toasty when the weather gets chilly, 125. Story 119. Meat thermometer. If you know a kid who's moving out on their own for the first time, get them one. Can't believe I was in my 40s before I finally bought one. Story 120. Prescription eyeglasses with photochromatic lenses have been a game changer for me. Now I don't have to worry about wearing contacts when I step out to wear my sunglasses. Story 121. 500 ml niacin. One bottle lasted me 3 years. I would take it when I didn't want to leave the house. A itchy flush later, and I would be my social self again. Methylene blue with vitamin D3 and K2. Felt like being on an SSRI without all the side effects. I cycle it now. Jeans with spandex in them. They are $30 on Amazon a pair. They are comfy like pajamas. Black ones pass for dress pants. A smartwatch. I don't space out in meetings and play with my phone. Glancing at my watch sends a different social message. It also acts as a Fitbit, and that helped me lose weight. A Keurig. No fuss coffee, a heating blanket, and a cheap mattress topper. Every winter, I get really deep sleep, a Bluetooth controlled timer plug. It's set to turn on the lights in my room a bit before I'm supposed to wake up. Shines right into the bed to give me a gentle wake up. When my alarm goes off, I can actually enjoy the music before getting up. A decent desk chair, a juicer. It's kind of hard to keep celery and beets in the house, but juicing them is a serious pick-me-up. Pre-mixed electrolyte salt. Hangovers, headaches, fatigue, brain fog. So much is controlled by your magnesium, potassium, and calcium levels. A hanging hamper. Suddenly it became extremely easy to keep my home clean. My mom never trained us to use a hamper for some reason. She was very much the stay-at-home type and was always keeping the laundry wash, so I just never learned to store dirty clothes. They would pile up in my room until it was time to do laundry. With all the clothes off the floor, I started up keeping all other aspects of my room, and that freed up energy to clean other stuff. Cleaning my home now consists of scrubbing the bathrooms, picking up the clothes into the hampers, and putting the dishes into and out of the dishwasher. Maybe dust once a month. Robots take care of the hardwoods, and I do laundry pretty regularly. Story 122. Bidet. I still don't understand why it's not popular in the US. You can try a non-electrical one first if you're not sure. They cost as low as $30. Story 123. Relief band. I have had chronic nausea for 10 years. Literally nauseous every waking second of every single day. The relief band in conjunction with my transdermal scopolamine patch give me the good days and make the nausea more tolerable. I take it off to bathe, and that is basically it. I would suggest it to anyone who has any kind of regular nausea issues. I've loaned my old ones out to pregnant friends on occasion, and my sister when she was pregnant with my nephew. They have all said it helps. They are pricey, running around $130 for the one I use. If you get motion sickness or otherwise have regular issues with nausea, I still think it's worth it. But they make C-bands which run on the same principle. They only work for about 3 to 4 hours blocks for me, but that is enough for a lot of people. That I suggest trying if you aren't ready to spend the money on a relief band. They run about 10 a pair. Story 124. A TENS machine from Amazon, about 20. I suffer from chronic nerve pain due to a back injury, and the TENS machine is one of the only things that reduces the symptoms. It's small and light enough that I can have it connected throughout the day when ALI get flare-ups. It was honestly a game changer for me. Anyone experiencing similar issues should give it a go. Story 125. There are several things, but I'll toss one out there. A knee pillow to put between my legs as I sleep. It has helped immensely with back pain. It was like the best 20 to 30 bucks I've spent on Amazon in a long time. Story 126. When I became an amputee, I was given special type of jug to keep next to the bed to urinate in, since hopping or crutching to the toilet in the night is a bad idea. Wish I'd been using it forever. Makes it so much easier to go back to sleep, and I also no longer lie in bed trying to convince myself I don't need to go enough and I will fall back asleep. Never works. If you gotta go bad enough that it woke you up, you gotta all go. I just wake up and get it over with. Story 127. High quality mattress topper. I feel sinfully comfy in my bed these days. Had to get one for my son too. Story 128. Reusable Keurig pods. As in, I provide the coffee. They act as tiny coffee filters for a Keurig coffee machine. Far less waste, and I still get fresh coffee for every cup. Story 129. A sleep mask with sound. My husband falls asleep with the TV on most nights, so the mask helps me stay asleep until the timer turns the TV off. The sound is great too, because I would always wake up to the sound of a passing train blowing its horn or the sound of my husband snoring. I think the silence being broken by those two sounds would be what woke me up, not the actual sound itself. I was nervous to sleep with something covering my ears, but you can still hear what's going on unless you have the volume turned way up. You definitely hear a smoke alarm, etc. while wearing them. The brand I have is Manta, which was $100 for the mask with speakers, and I use the white noise app from Apple Set to thunderstorm and rain. Helps me sleep great. Story 130. Someone on Reddit mentioned a Kindle electronic page turner and gooseneck holder a few months ago. That person may not have changed my life, but they've really improved it. I have to read myself to sleep every night and would always get pins and needles holding my Kindle or cold hands. It's so much easier to fall asleep now. I can keep one hand under my pillow and one under my knee and still read until I drift off. Story 131. I bought a Kobo e-reader, switched from doom scrolling before bed to reading before bed, changed my life. Story 132. Bluetooth sleep mask. Lights aren't an issue anymore, and I can listen to relaxing stuff like ASMR with anyone else having to hear it. Story 133. Pyrex custard cups for the kitchen. They're like ramekins, but a little bigger. They stack easily, and my wife and I use them for everything. We currently are using them for her tea bag in the morning, some peanuts in our pantry, some M&Ms, a few small leftovers in the refrigerator, a garlic clove by our fruit bowl, and our bite guards in the bedroom. Anything that needs to stay fresh, we just put plastic wrap over it. They're so handy and versatile that we had 10, and I had to buy 4 more. Story 134. Really good shoes, fresh groceries, seeds and gardening equipment, pens and paper yoga mat, and free workout app. That's off the top of my head. These all improved myself, which improved my life. Be well. Story 135. Istaf knife was my best QOL purchase, precisely because it's not Japanese. Here's my hot take. Istaf Classic Icon is the single best quality of life upgrade I've made for my kitchen. And the reason is simple. It's not a Japanese knife. Look, I get it. Those laser-sharp Japanese knives are cool. But honestly, who wants to be in their own kitchen, constantly babying a knife you're terrified of chipping? I don't need that kind of anxiety in my life. My Istaf is a tank. I can use it for everything from dicing veggies to breaking down a chicken without a second thought about the blade chipping. That feeling of carefree reliability is the real game changer. For me, the true quality of life improvement isn't owning a high-maintenance glass cannon. It's having a reliable partner that lets you cook without worry and actually enjoy the process. It just makes cooking more relaxing and fun. Story 136. KeySmart Pro. Find my keys with my phone. Find my phone with my keys. And a tiny flashlight for finding a keyhole. Rechargeable. Thing is like 4 years old and still holds a charge for a month. I check the flashlight when I open my office door and charge it on my desk as needed. Like 30. Story 137. I don't use it every day, but I got an extension cord for my car charger for $150, and I wouldn't be able to charge my car without it. Very useful. Story 138. My smoothie mixer that can even crush ice. Am I officially old now? Guess so. but hey, I love it, and it helps me eat drink even more healthy. Story 139. Pair of decent bookshelf speakers and a used AVR for movies, music, TV. Amazing, really. Threw out my sound bar and went all in on surround sound in every room after that. Story 140. Sun short with hood. Literally cooler than wearing no shirt and no need to put on sunblock the vast majority of the time. Can also be used as a wicking-based layer for activities in cooler weather, like 30 on Amazon. I got one from Belefo. Story 141. KitchenAid mixer. I use it all the time. It has started to slip gears this weekend after 10 years of regular use, and I'm starting to panic. Story 142. Noise-canceling headphones. I had no idea how bad my sensory issues with noise were until I didn't have to deal with it anymore. I have what feels like an insane amount of mental and physical energy now. Story 143. I spent an afternoon in a Uniqlo. I cried looking at the total, but I wear everything that I bought that day. Money well spent. Story 144. Blackout eye mask has increased my sleep hours by probably 7 hours a week. A good wrap-around neck pillow has added probably another 3 hours a week of sleep. Overall, huge benefits for peanuts. Story 145. Not every day, but I bought a 15 digital meat thermometer and am so much more confident cooking meat now. Story 146. And watch. Prods me to be more active, monitors my heart rate, saves me a lot of time with the Find My Phone alert. Story 147. I now have a stand that holds my tablet while I play games or browse Reddit. Can't remember exactly, but it may have been less than 50.0. The stand is highly adjustable, and it is saving me an enormous amount of neck strain. Story 148. Le Creuset cast iron brazier price depends on size. Great for all sorts of one-pan dishes, stews, braises, can act as a roasting pan for meats, skillet. It was my first piece and by far my most used. Electric kettle, electric toothbrush, noise-canceling headphones. Story 149. My second monitor. Being able to play on one screen and have web and social media open on the other has made life so much easier when doing anything online or gaming. Story 150. Hard water filter for the shower head. Hair, skin, and attitude had an immediate improvement. Acne cleared up and hair was finally clean. That and the smell was gone and shower was much easier to clean. Hard water. Story 151. Dish rack that goes over the sink. We get to save counter space and dry so many more dishes at once. Story 152. Keyless entry for the back door of my house. I don't have to carry keys anymore, except my car key, that's a small key fob, and I can give the code to my parents so they can get in if they need to. Story 153. Earplugs. You can get a decent pair for like $30, and not only do they protect your hearing, but they will drastically improve your quality of life if you live or work in a noisy place. They're good for sleeping too. I use them on the weekends and my days off to block out the noise of garbage trucks and neighborhood kids playing outside the house, and I sleep like a baby. Story 154. A carrier bag from an airport I fly through regularly. The airside shops have a deal that anything bought there can be brought onto the plane in addition to your hand luggage. I just bought the carrier bag and fill it with stuff that wouldn't fit in my case. I do it all the time, and nobody's ever stopped me. Story 155. I bought a box of brass hooks that you screw into the wall, shower cabinet, door that hold things. I have hung so many things up and eliminated so much clutter from my house. I originally bought the box for 2 bird feeders in my backyard, but I'm constantly seeing uses for these hooks. I've hung the hair brush next to the mirror, my belts next to my closet, my hats, my scarves, bananas under the cabinets over the sink, etc. I've also found that instead of drilling a hole to put up the hooks, I have a nail that is the perfect size. So, I hammer in the nail, take out the nail, screw in the hook. I know they have those removable hooks by command, but they are expensive. And I got this box of hooks for maybe $3 for 30. Hooks, 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 hooks. Story 156. Vaseline. I've used it on chapped lips, on dry skin, and as makeup remover. Edit. Also forgot one more thing. As a nurse, when we remove chest tubes, think giant tube stuck in between your ribs, we seal the opening with Vaseline and gauze. Story 157. 2 years ago, when Target put all their holiday stuff on clearance, my son found a Hanukkah cup with a crazy straw that he wanted for 75 cents. I thought we would throw it away quickly because it was cheaply made, but it quickly became his favorite drinking vessel. All this time later, it's still going strong, and we use it every day. Story 158. Using inexpensive as a relative term, I bought a 92 Volvo station wagon 4 years ago with 160K miles for $800. I bought it specifically as a daily driver to last about a year. It's at 250K now and still going strong. It's never needed major repairs. Previous owner was the mother of a Volvo dealership owner, and the repairs that it does need are easy even for someone who is not mechanically inclined. I changed my own oil, recharged the AC, and even replaced a door liner. It fits a full drum kit with stand in the back, with room left over for 2 people to sit in the middle seat. Best $800 I ever spent. Answer: I bought a 1990 Ford Festiva 6 years ago that had an indicated 195K miles on it, but the previous owner said the odometer had stopped working years ago, so who knows the actual miles. I replaced the tires, clutch, flushed the coolant, and changed the oil. Regular oil changes and it still runs like a top. Best $600 car ever. Story 159. At Building 19 in Wareham, Mass., I found an old drinking glass with a pattern stencil of the Kentucky Derby winners up until that date. I think this was about 2005, maybe 2006. It was less than $1 because everything in Building 19 is cheap. Years later, I had used that glass every day. It is odd how you can tie moments in time to a physical object and get memories from them. My wife passed away from cancer in 2011, and I still had that glass we bought on that trip to B19. The painting on the glass was starting to wear off, but it was still special to me. Plus, it was tall and thin and could hold mojito really well. About a year ago, it broke. Still grieving my wife's passing, I think I actually cried when the glass broke. I have not been able to find another since, and I try to hit every Building 19 I can find. Funny thing is, I have a mug on my desk here at work with the Pez logo on it, all rainbow of sorts. It is a replacement mug my wife bought me because the one we got together at the Pez Museum in NJ broke, and she searched all around eBay to find this one to replace it. Knowing little simple stuff like that keeps my memories clear and crisp in my mind and my heart. Didn't mean to write a short novel. This will probably get lost in the mix of replies to this thread, but it felt nice writing it. So, Story 161. 20 Jan Sport backpack, plain navy blue and about as nondescript as can be, has carried my books and clothes from freshman year of high school through freshman year of college and gone to 5 or 6 different countries. No signs of breaking. Story 161. 4 years ago, I bought an Acer netbook for $200, put Ubuntu on it, and I use it for goddamn everything. It gets more action than all my hardware, consoles, computers, and devices. I can probably count the number of times I've rebooted this thing on one hand. It's a complete piece of shit hardware, but we make a good team. Never have I got so much use out of a computer this cheap and pathetic. It does all my dev stuff, streams all my media, acts as a fucking server for 5 other computers. I attribute its success and longevity to a non-Windows platform. Last week, my cat fired it off my desk and cracked the casing. It runs better now. It might be immortal. Story 162. Freshman year of high school, I bought a jumping castle for $60. After some impressive bargaining, my family gave me so much grief for wasting my money and buying such an impractical toy. But over the years, my family has used it for birthday parties, BBQs, and even keeps it on the ready whenever someone has to babysit. My mom ended up reimbursing me the money because she felt so bad about lecturing me all those years. Easily the greatest purchase of my life. Story 163. A free flashlight app for my phone. Helps me find stuff in my handbag all the time. Edit: I had no idea a passing comment like this would get so big. To answer the most popular responses, don't worry, you're not the first person to think it said fleshlight. I tried just carrying around a torch, but I couldn't get it to make calls. You're right, it shouldn't count. I didn't buy it, although it was definitely inexpensive. I could use the video flash, but using the app keeps the side facing me dark. Also, it has a compass and an SOS setting so I can signal for help if I ever get trapped on a mountainside. For those concerned about how I manage when my phone is in my bag, it rarely is. It's more likely to be in one of my pockets. Whoever came me gold for this comment, thank you. I have no idea why, but I'm appreciative all the same. Story 164. My wife got me this thing as a stocking stuffer that's like a headband with a light on the front of it. At first I was like, WTF, but it's extremely useful when doing home repairs. You can get a light on a stuff while keeping both hands free. I use it all the time now. Update: apparently they're called headlamps. Who knew? Everyone but me, it seems. Story 165. My hair clippers, $40. I cut my hair at least once a month and I do it for friends for free if they're nice about asking. Saves 15 plus bucks on a haircut every time, and it always comes out exactly how I want. Every guy should do this. Edit to answer some common questions. I use Wall Magic Clip Clippers, about 40 on Amazon. I also ordered longer guads, 1.25 and 1.5 inch for slightly longer hairstyles. It took me some trial and error to get it to look great, but I never fucked it up badly. It always looked at least okay. Edit Darjoir 2. Wow, some of you guys are really butthurt about the idea that someone could conceivably cut their own hair well. You have mirrors and clippers just like barbers, and you only have to worry about your head shape and your preferred hairstyle so you can perfect it as much as you want, whereas a barber would have to know a lot of different styles, etc. It's a money-saving method that can look good if you put in the effort. That's the point of the post. Story 166. This one's weird, and I'm sure that no one here has also made the same purchase, but I use it every day. A giant carabiner. No, not those regular ones you see people carrying their keys on, nor those slightly bigger ones used for professional climbing that you see some guys carry. Nike, this is the giant one found in the camping section. Allow me to teach you my ways to show you its incredible usefulness. The smaller carabiners are uncomfortable and noisy when carrying your keys on them because they don't fit into your pocket. Fear not, the giant carabiner fits perfectly in your back pocket for maximum comfort and no jiggling sound. Everyone comments on it. Whoa, that's one big carabiner you got there. To which I promptly reply, thanks, I get that a lot. It's funny because it sounds like I'm talking about how big my penis is. It's huge. You'll never lose your keys again. You can use it for more than just to carry your keys. Too many grocery bags to carry in all at once? Not anymore. Put those handles around the carabiner and you can easily carry every bag in one trip. I'm sure you can think of many more uses for the giant carabiner, and it can be yours for the low price of just like $3.0, something like that. I don't know. I bought it a while ago. Look it up yourself. It's a good investment. Edit. Reorganize the numbers. Edit 2. Picture of what a real giant carabiner looks like. Story 167. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say a mouse bungee. It looks awkward. Probably have no idea what it's for by looking for a pic of it on the interwebs. Basically, it holds the mouse cord. More specifically, it holds the mouse cord and suspends it in the air to about 5 inches about the mouse pad. The cord I drag around moving the mouse has no weight since it's being held up like that. No more pulling the mouse cord around my desk. No more tugging, no more cord getting stuck on something behind my desk. Story 168. My 60 Bissell vacuum cleaner. I abuse that thing and it keeps on going more than 10 years later. My workplace got these commercial vacuum cleaners for several $100s, and they all pooped out after a couple years. You might argue that they see more use, but I know the one in my office didn't get any more use than my Bissell at home. Story 169. A Bluetooth OBD-UIY sensor for my car. It was like $15 and I got the Torque Pro app for $5. For $20, I can now check engine codes on my car and view live data, charts, etc. Also, for a bonus, I bought a window mount for my phone so I can display digital gauges of live data or use the track recorder add-on free and use it as a makeshift dash cam with info, speed, RPM, etc. It's customizable. Overlaid on the video. One of the coolest things I've done, and I have been using it every day for the last year. Story 170. A pour-over coffee maker. If you want a cup of coffee right now with no fuss, this is what you need. What is it? It's a fucking cone that fits over a cup. What does it do? It holds your filter and your grounds. How does it work? You put that shit in it, pour some boiling-ass water in it, and boom. Mother-fucking coffee. Yeah, take a look at your coffee maker. What does it do? It heats your water. Well, you got something that'll do that already. It's called a stove. What else does it do? It pours the water for you. Well, mama didn't raise no sissy, so I think I can handle that myself. And what else? It has a burner so your coffee can sit for hours and stay warm and burn on the bottom and taste horrible. Yeah, well, I want my coffee now, so I don't need all that shit, and cleaning is easy. Step 1, put it in the dishwasher. Step 2, go do something else. Story 171. I didn't buy it, but it was bought. It was inexpensive, and I can't believe I still use it. In 2003, my high school girlfriend had a Logitech laser mouse, but she was an idiot. One afternoon, we were sitting at her kitchen table, and she was trying to play on her computer, But for some unfathomable reason, the mouse wasn't playing nicely with the glossy surface of the table, so she yanked it from the USB port and whipped it at the wall. Oh, she had some of the most memorable tantrums. I took the mouse home, plugged it in, rested it atop a fucking mouse pad, and used it for years and years and years. 10 years later, it still works absolutely fine. I mean, I guess it shouldn't be such a surprise, but considering how many computers people can go through in 10 years, I'm proud of this little 15 plastic critter. Story 172. You know those baby carriers where you strap the munchkin onto your chest belly? My cousin gave me theirs saying that their kids hated it and never used it. I've gone through 2 kids now, and I use the absolute fuck out of that thing. It was the most amazingly useful possession I've ever had, and I probably averaged wearing it for 2 hours each day. I'm very sad that my girls are now too big for it. If you have a baby, do yourself a massive favor. Get one of these and use it. Baby will be happier, and you will too. Story 173. Before going to work at a camp 5 years ago, I bought a 20 hand crank flashlight from Canadian Tire. It's gotten me through several summers of exploring forests and reading in the pitch black, more than a few blackouts and earth hours, and even house repairs in dark basements. It's so great to never, ever have to worry about buying batteries or charging the thing. It doesn't last for more than 10 to 15 minutes, but 10 cranks is all it takes to bring it back to full power. I love it. Story 174. My bicycle. Got the frame for free from some mechanic buddies, added a good used wheel set from Craigslist, and recycled all the old parts from my old road bike. I have put almost 10 miles on it and never cost me anything to get on it and ride. I maybe go through a couple tubes a year and that's it. Stressed? Ride your bike. Bored? Ride your bike. Broke? Ride your bike. No gas bill, no gym membership, and that feeling you got as a 10-year-old riding your Huffy through the neighborhood with your friends. Story 175. My clothes dryer. Originally, I bought a set that cost about $1,000 each. The dryer took a crap on me in the first year or so. The company dicked me around with the warranty, and I couldn't fix it myself because it was all electrical push-button crap. So I went out and bought a $50 used remanufactured dryer for temporary use. It's a Kenmore from the 90s, maybe 80s, and it kicks ass. I've had it for 4 years, and I've only had to replace the belt, which was easy because it's not some electronic push-button hunk of junk.